here's an example. And the cycle is that it starts here, because there's conception. This is the first, on all of my cards, I've got first spark, right? Genesis. This is Genesis. There's the snake. So take, for example, and this is an example of how this stuff rules, quote unquote, everything, every cycle. Let's take the cycle of wanting to find a mating partner. It starts up here, let's say, with that urge for, that inner urge and that inner heat, right? That inner sexuality. It's a drive to immerse, right? Eventually you want to get to here, let's say. Let's say here is the goal. So you're here and you do this, and this is immersion. In this schema, this is surrender and immersion zone. And this is also self-pres is the bodies, right? That self-pres, bodies, right? Fire and water's no body stuff's gonna, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be some steamy stuff with fire and water, but you gotta have the body to make it nice and juicy. So you want a mating partner. What do you have to do? You have that urge, you have that fire in your loins. You've got to go into the social world. There's a rooster back there. You have to make yourself into a beautiful, desirable object. You have to broadcast. You have to do style, hair, makeup, adornment, personal adornment, jewelry, etc. And makeup, for example, red here, that's imitating what happens in the body when they're during sexual arousal. And that's part of the broadcast, the display. So this is the bird space, and again, it's birds where you have the most radical differentiation between male and female in terms of visual display. The males are out there, flashy, cocky, the word cock for rooster. So in the mating field, right out there in the public with all the people, Friday night at the club looking for a mating partner, you've got people exaggerating their maleness or their femaleness, and in some cases doing some degree of androgyny as well, which is an aspect of the sexual instinct. There's where you get fire and water, and that's one of the reasons why it makes sense that simultaneous male-femaleness of the sexual instinct. So that can be part of the display. There's going to be an exaggerated quality to that when you're doing your mating dance. Exaggeration is a piece of what you're doing in social space. Social is partly being seen as fill in the blank. You're articulating in that social subzone of sexual your particular style, and you're displaying it out to the public. So it's much more being seen as. So you picked up your chick, you found her, and now you go back to her place, her self-pres place, home, self-pres. I don't mean to indicate that the self-pres subzone of sexual is going to someone's home. I just mean you can see how there's this cycle. What this really is relative to sexual, this zone right here, is the bodies, right? So we had the urge to get to the bodies, right? We had the urge to get to immersion into each other, right? And surrender. Within the sexual instinct, in that first part here, in the first desire, the inner spark of it is that you want that immersion with another person. You want two to become one. Inner desire, right here you're very much two different people, the two mating partners, right? Extreme differentiation, male, female, very articulated display, separate. And also another aspect on social and the mating dance is communication. In other words, at the club on Friday night, picking up my new mating partner, I've got to be able to chat her up. I've got to have game. Again, I call this manifestation and competition zone. This is the competition for the mate, and it's interesting that we have that term game. He's got no game, or he's got game. So I've got to be able to chat up this girl. I've got to be able to show her that I'm smart, that I'm witty, fast mind, that I play guitar really well, and those are all communications. I've got to talk, I've got to communicate through music, and it's got to be good. It's got to be excellent. So that's competition. Immersion. So once we do start to immerse, again, I don't mean this is part of the instinct, but it's part of this cycle that I'm trying to pull us through in the area of sort of the instincts having rulership over all cycles. Self-pres, then, this is the immersion into each other, losing ourselves. Right here, we were very much ourselves. I mean, we were actually like an exaggerated ourself. We made sure we were particularly articulated as an individual, and now we're losing ourselves in the other. And there's a merging, and the extreme two-ness, wide, is now becoming one. And what happens, you could say, in this cycle is then you go back to her apartment, self-pres, and then you might come over in another couple days and you bring your toothbrush, and there's things, so now things, and then you're bringing some clothes next time. Things are accumulating now, and it's getting heavier. And she might get pregnant, and then that would lead to a roundness, like a pig is round. A rooster and a snake don't have the capacity for roundness and for adding on weight the way that a pig does. Like a pig could just keep going, could pig out, could really hog everything. Now, let's say we've got a home together, we've got kids, we've got things, cars, it's all getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And what happened? We lost that spark. We start to notice that we lost the spark. Honey, we lost that flame we used to have, that passion. Fiery passion is gone. So what I'm suggesting is that the noticing that the original spark is gone, it's grounded out in self-pres earth, ground, earth, earth, earth. All the electricity just got grounded. Dull. Noticing that it's gotten dull, and this is just one possible iteration of a cycle among many that I could talk about. There's a way to do this with social and self-pres. The noticing that it's lost its edge, it's another, belongs to this zone. The noticing of the loss of spark and fire, that's actually us coming back in here. Now, what usually happens, however, is that the tendency, because we're on planet Earth, is to ground out here. And this is also, I'm suggesting, rules personality in general, even people that are self-preservation last, that the personality digs a rut. Notice the word rut, another earth word. It becomes entrenched. The personality gets stuck here. That's a condition of all personalities. So that's a way that this rules personality in general. Even a person that's sexual first is going to do patterns. The patterns dig a rut, and you become entrenched, and you're doing the same thing every day. This is the everyday. The mundane, that's from munda, which means world, which means earth. That's one way that the instincts rule the personality itself. Back to the cycle of a romance. The spark's gone. Where's the juice? We might make ourselves attractive again for each other. We're back here and making ourselves a beautiful, desirable object. And now make yourself attractive for each other again. Go on dates again. You've noticed that the spark's gone. Let's work out Another way that that can go is noticing there's a spark, and one of the individuals might notice the spark is gone. And again, the noticing of the spark being gone, that's an inner thing. And again, inner conceptualization, conception. The other way it can go is that you're going out, say, in the workplace or somewhere else in the social where the multiplicity is, and you're finding somebody to have an affair with. And that's one of the signs of somebody having an affair, is that they're making themselves attractive again. They're doing that social zone within the sexual. They're out there, putting myself out there. That's social space. I'm going to end with one more creature symbol. Another creature that appears in mythologies all over the world, in every continent, is a dragon. And there is something special about dragons for a lot of people. And if you think about what a dragon is, it's actually an integration of the snake, the rooster, and the pig. It's got 4 legs typically. It's got wings, and it is a serpent, lizard, reptile thing. Dragons often come from the ocean. There's your sexual water element, and they breathe fire. There's your sexual fire. A dragon is a higher vibration of the snake. Started as a snake, got wings, got 4 feet, and now it's integrated. In most patterns, most of the time, we're all staying flat. In other words, what I mean is we're just doing the patterns and we're going in a circle on the earth. Flat earth. We're all flat earthers. Point being, it's not actually going anywhere. It's just going in circles flat, this thing. The dragon, which is a symbol of the instincts, all 3 balanced, now we have the capacity to spiral up and to fly. The freedom to not be stuck in the rut that is the personality.